The Otueko, you think is what?
I thought it was a guy name.
No, that's not. That's my title.
Okay.
I'm a traditional title holder. It simply means...
So that's why you're flaunting it left, right, center?
Well, that is what I have been crowned with, and it has become a belief system for me, and so I uphold it, I respect it, and I honor it. So, as the title you just pronounced simply means, if you like, the warlord and a warrior. And so, having been so honored by my royal fathers, I will also continue to flaunt it and show that actually I appreciate the honor.
Okay. All right. So when I grow up, I'm going to be like you. We have a number of newspapers we have to take a look at today, and maybe that will be the best opportunity for Dwekong to tell us how he will feel to not be able to get more than 20,000 withdrawal on a daily basis. I don't know how he'll be feeling his car. So we take a look at the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune has these. CBN pegs weekly cash withdrawal at 100,000 naira. Anxiety grips traders, artisans, limits cash withdrawal to 20,000 naira per day through ATM POS. 200 naira now, highest ATM denomination. Effective date January 9, 2023. Etoekon, can you respond to that?
Well, I have my reservations about the policy. I know CBN has its reasons. Part of it is to drive towards a cashless economy where you don't have so much of cash in circulation. But I still have my reservations because I know it's going to impose some hardship. I was driving down this morning. Something just came on me and I said, if this policy is implemented, you will have most of persons who are into manual labor, who are being paid on daily basis, not being paid by their contractors. Because if they're not able to withdraw more than 100,000 per week, and you have those that you are engaging for manual labor, and you are paying them per day, they will mean that the project will be stalled. And most of this manual labor may not have the expertise to, be able to have internet, to manipulate their phones and have the bank app for you to transfer to them. So you will end up having difficulties, if you go to rural areas where you don't even have network. What happens? Yes, if you can have network in the urban cities, some communities, some rural areas don't have network for you to be able to transfer to them. So when you finish your job, when they finish working for you, those old men, those old women, and you say, let me transfer to you, they will be asking you, what does it mean? For them, you have to give them cash. And when you say you transfer to them, for them to be able to withdraw it, they will be debited. They will be, bank will also deduct some of the charges from them. So if you are paying them, assuming you are paying a manual labor 5,000, per day, and it's in the interior area, those local women or local men, and then you give them transfer, they go to POS to withdraw, they will be charged, say, 100 naira. So it means that you are paying him 4,900. So you can see that it will be imposing some level of hardship. I rather think that the CBN would have allowed us to begin to adapt to the new currency that has just been brought out before we now, because that one on its own has already begun to have a difficult time for politicians who have already stashed monies in their houses. So when you now begin to say you will not be having more withdrawal, more than 100,000, and then 20,000, and so you will be imposing more hardship for Nigerians. So even though you want to see how you can make policies that will, revise the way we have abused our currency, I think you should take it step by step.
But I'm thinking, is there any time a new policy could be adopted that, people will not suffer for it? Especially when that policy has some very, very good sides, some prospects, something that will, because if you, for some people, if you place the hardship side by side with the gains that the economy is going to enjoy by that policy, I think some patriotic people will go for the gain for the entire country. So how do we therefore, because you cannot also do away with these concerns you have just raised, but is it going to be because of these concerns that people have, which are very genuine and germane, that will not do what is right as a country?
Policies are made for human. I support, like I said, I support every policy that will revive our economy and make us to be cautious of the fact that you don't have to abuse our currency. I said here, I think some weeks ago, that the CBN is supposed to also check how Nigerians spray money at public events, at social events. You see child naming, burial events, social gatherings. You will see people going to spray money. They will go and take mint. They buy the mint and go and spray it to people who are celebrants.
So that's going to stop?
No, I'm coming. So I was saying that the CBN policy is against that kind of practice, but yet CBN is unable to stop that kind of practices. Now CBN is saying, okay, fine, we don't want much cash to be in circulation so that it will check bandits, it will check kidnapping and the rest. But I'm also saying that as much as I agree that we need to make policies that will help the economy, that will help the country to grow, but you also consider the locals, those who are not able to have phones that have internet, those who are not able to manipulate the apps, those that, you know, when you engage them in manual labor in the interior areas, you don't have network to transfer to them, you will end up, you know, imposing hardship on them. They will have to go back to town to go and cash the transfer you are making to them, or they will have to go to where you have POS to go and withdraw. So all those challenges is what I'm saying, that perhaps the limit would have been a little bit up than what it is, so that to enable room for more, you know, for more cash withdrawal, at least from the counter. If you cannot do it from the POS and from the ATM, you can do it from the counter. So when you go to the counter, at least there you are captured. If you are withdrawing more than they say 1 million or so, they should be able to capture you and know. But when you now say above the counter for the weekend, I mean for a week, you have to withdraw 100,000. You are going to, I mean, for a corporate body now, 500,000, and that will be very stressful. So it means that if I have a project that I will spending 2 million, it means I will use 1 month to cash the money.
Oh, you do transfer? Is that not the essence?
We are saying the same thing here. I'm simply saying the transfer that you are transferring. Of course, the policy also say if you withdraw more than that limit, you are being charged 5% and 10%.
The process is going to be so rigorous.
Yeah.
Because when I took a look at, you know, the circular that was released yesterday, you want to withdraw a certain amount of money that is higher than the approved limit that has been pegged. The MD of the bank has to be written to, and he has to also write in response that he has granted the permission, the approval for you to withdraw. What kind of process? So if the MD of the bank is not in the country at the moment, you have to wait until he comes back from Dubai.
And every customer will have to go to the MD's office to get approval. That's the point. So that is why I'm saying that the policies are made for human. You also be able to know that you should have human face. If you say everybody should have the bank app transfer, fine. How effective are this? Let me give you a typical scenario. I was able to, I wanted to buy data to recharge online, and I subscribed. I was debited 5,000 naira for a data, and up to today as I speak, that's not been refunded to me. I've not seen the data in my phone. So that is it. So if I have the time to go to bank, I'll go and be queuing to say, refund, let me fill form so I can refund the 5,000 naira. I don't have such a lot of time. So you can imagine that. So now that you are saying everybody should go online, you will see network, you will see the jamming, you will see traffic will now rush. So you have traffic that will be going through the network services. Do you have effective and efficient network to manage this traffic the inflow that you now have on your network? The answer is simply no. Now you have less traffic. Less people are using the internet services for the bank app and the rest. Yet you still have difficulties. People will pay money and they will be debited. The money will not be sent and so forth. So when you now have the traffic, say most Nigerians will be going online now to do their bank transaction. You have traffic jam and all these things. So you will have several complaints. So I think that CBN would have taken all this into consideration before you make such a policy. You would have been able to look at it as, okay, fine, let's even start with a limit of, say, 2 million, at least. Let's see how it will go. When you say 500,000, it simply means that you are compelling everybody who will do business beyond 500,000 to go to the bank to get the bank empty. And like you have rightly mentioned, if the MD is not in town, then what happens? Then that business will be, frustrated. So the policy for me is okay, but the timing is bad, and the economy we are also talking about also is about human. If I'm not able to pay my laborer in the site, and they are not able to get their money in cash, there could be crisis.
Okay. The one that really is of concern to me is the people who run this POS business.
Good.
They require a huge amount of cash to do the business. Now that the 20,000 naira is the highest, how are they going to run the business?
So that is just we are simply saying the same thing. So you are simply putting them out of business. That is the meaning of it. You are putting those people who are doing POS businesses out of business. But I can tell you, trust Nigerians. They know how to beat the policies. If someone has a job to do, he can transfer to 10 people, and they will go and withdraw it. As a corporate body, if you are having a job that would take 10 million, can transfer 500,000 to 10 people. I'm not teaching Nigerians what to do, but the Nigerians know how to.
You've already taught.
You know how to beat
You've already finished the teaching.
You know how to beat all the policy. They will just transfer to everybody to go and cash. So you will want to go to bank and cash and then bring it and take your own interest or percentage. So it becomes a business. But the truth remains that I think that there is need for CBN to also have a human face in their policy. Nobody is competing with them. They are not contesting the 2023 election. So they shouldn't make policy because of the election, and they forget the fact that it will have aftermath effect on Nigerians. If your target is the election, after election, what happens?
Okay, maybe they'll reverse it because it's also very important that people don't buy votes in 2023. So
I agree with you.
And if you advise, no matter how you preach, they're still going to buy. So you have to introduce a measure to keep their money in their bank, and they go without money.
You know, you cannot check vote buying by simply imposing cashless economy. I don't want to teach politicians. They know all these things. They know how to beat it.
Okay, I don't want the teaching. So let's
they know how to beat all these things.
Nigerians in diaspora, Sue Buhari and INEC asked courts to stop 2023 elections. What reason on earth would make anybody, any part of the world, to stop 2023 election? What's the problem?
No, you see, the Electoral Act, has hostile provisions that host the courts from being able to prevent election from holding. That is number one. No court in Nigeria can halt election from holding. That is the hostile position, the provision that the Electoral Act has. Instead, what you would rather do is to go to tribunal if the outcome is not what you expected. If not, you would have seen people who will go to court 2-3 days to election and say, court, stop this election from holding. And you will have plethora of petitions from court cases, and you will have confusion in the country. And then you could have